Semaj Brown, a poet, author, scientist, educator, and artist, was named Flint's first Poet Laureate by proclamation from Mayor Karen Weaver. Brown, originally from Detroit, arrived in Flint in 2003 after marrying family physician James Brown, who I think is playing tonight, and has since become a devoted community activist and a much-loved spoken word performer. That was true when she lived here, too, in Detroit, and worked on the scene. Her new book, 2019, is called Bleeding Fire, Tap the Eternal Spring of Regenerative Light. Please welcome from Detroit by way of Flint this time, Semaj Brown!
I have my husband accompanying me with his Arbolune. How amazing it was when I heard these sounds coming out of the basement, and I went down, and there were all these tree branches. They were strong, and he was getting down too. So it was really wonderful, and he's been playing them. And so since we live in Flint, and I'm the Poet Laureate now, I have water on my mind. It's on my mind, it's on my head, it's on my feet, it's everywhere. There's a statistic that just came out for our third graders. There's been a 75% drop in literacy scores when compared with 5 years prior, before the onset of the water crisis. 75% drop. So there goes the third grade, there goes the fifth grade, right? And the sixth grade, seventh grade, and second grade. So our third graders are now reading at 11% literacy rate. And so I have an initiative called the Poetry Pod Project, and we'll be launching it shortly at U of M Flint. And we're calling for all poets and all writers and all teachers and retired teachers and persons and workers and anyone who is literate to become reading word warriors and writing word warriors. And we're going to deploy in pods, poetry pods, all throughout the city. And there was this elder woman that told me, she said, she was at one of my readings, she said, I think we could turn this whole thing around. And I believed her. And so that's what we're going to do.
All right.
That's what we're going to do. So, I came out here prepared to talk about Cass Tech because it was such a wonderful experience, and I do believe that everyone, all children everywhere, should have this kind of experience. And I'm going to truncate all the poems today because of time. I'm just going to give you parts of them, and we're going to move through them. So this is also called Fish Eyes. So there's always a water theme running through all of them. Invisible. But my 14-year-old Frankenstein imagination could see it through these prophetic fish eyes. This imperceptible monstrosity, this thing, this it, locking gears in the vacant lot lagoon on East 7 Mile and Rhine across on Persian High. It was invisible, but I could see its ghost-like outline through murky urban waters. This thing, this it, translucent monster killing machine with Medusa-like appendages. Snatch that boy, Leonard. You know Leonard, who lived 2 streets down and then fed him to some out-of-town, out-of-sight entity. This thing must be deployed to disintegrate bricks, implode interiors of my neighborhood schools, deployed on a sea of cement, amphibious assault missiles sent to fish out a name to call itself this thing, this it, a name to call itself 4 decades later, a name like school to prison pipeline. A name like mass incarceration. But in 1974, this it remained phantom, anonymous. Only my 14-year-old prophetic fish eyes could see and feel. Feel the grind, the grind, pulverizing asphalt to gravel, mechanized nets of capture, containment, the grind, lowered and unhinged across the expanse of 313 area code. It was invisible, but I could hear the grind, the reverberations whiplashing as it confiscated banks and propped up check cashing fronts, as it held hostage small businesses and shoe repair to the ravages of clown painted pink and orange liquor stores, as it discharged nuclear annihilation of groceries to the propagation of fast food deserts. This thing, this it, this invisible, I could sense, despite the jubilation of newly elected Coleman A. Young and the eradication of Detroit Police Department's stress terror unit. I could feel the undercurrent rumbling of Detroit River surging my veins, warning me, telling me to make like a salmon with implanted mission and swim the Aqua-Boogie. So I did what any magical thinking, violin playing, natural hair wearing, P-Funk convert 14-year-old prophetic fish girl would do. I dove. Psycho alpha, disco beta, bio aquadoodle, woo! Psycho alpha, disco beta, bio aquadoodle, into the fire of Wilbur Canal. My fro of fin-shaped blaze, southbound hydroplaning to 2nd Avenue, final watering hole of intellectual rigor, Cass Technical High School, the green and white oasis, teeming with technicians, throngs of wide-eyed, prophetic, neon-lit fishes, just like me. CT social workers, CT educators, ministers are being called to reclaim our remnants, rebuild the fragments of the reconstituted people from the dust and debris, from the cultural apocalypse, from the fallout, from that thing, that it, that invisible thing, that it, that happened to our beloved Motown, to our beloved Detroit. This is called River Killers. Caught in the belly of denial. Killing us is suicidal. Caught like a fish in a net. You'll feel our power yet. Think you have the upper hand? Uprisings all over this land. Culture isn't real estate. The path you pave will be your fate. Illegitimate imposter system. Redemption ain't come yet. You will fall or you will listen. See, don't care what the people need. You don't care if the people fade. You don't care if the people bleed. Your river killers, horror show thrillers, river killers, agony deliverers, caught with revisionist history. These deceits are blistering. Pain, rain is ending. Mutinies are trending. Stealing water, what?